And we are back here at Pool Dog Championship Arena for continuing coverage of the APA 9-Ball World Championship. In this third match, we're going to have Chris Cook, who you are seeing prepare to break for the team of Burn It Down. He is a skill level 7, will need 55 points. His opponent, Bradley Gregory, skill level 4, will need 31 points. And Ava, what this means in terms of significance to the overall roster, since Burn It Down is putting up Chris Cook, it means we will not see Sarge or Jeff Sargent, their skill level 9. They are at 14 currently, which means they cannot put Sarge up, so can cross one of the 9s off. May still see Timothy Heath of 7 and a Timmaaay. But this is Chris Cook at the table now.
And you don't always need a 9 playing. You know, if you have a 7 and 8 ball, then you would like to be able to have a way for the 7 to play. But in 9 ball, it's less important because, you know, then you have to have a 9 that pretty much has to win. And they got to make a lot of points in this format. So, and the 9 has to be dead on to win. I mean, you can't just show up and try to scare somebody saying, I'm a 9. And because you can't push out, you know, and if you scratch on the break or you scratch on a shot, all of a sudden, whoever you're playing are getting ball in hand, and that could be incredibly costly. So,
look at that. Leaves that 4 ball right behind the 6.
Not a bad lead.
Bradley Gregory will have to try to navigate around that 6 ball somehow.
Should be able to just go into the side cushion there and hit the right side of the 4 ball. Since the 4 ball, if you play good speed there, the 4 ball will go up table, cue ball will stay down table. Uh-oh.
Scratch there by Bradley.
Again, Chris is a skill level 7.
Not sure on that overall point total, if that's correct. To check that.
So he's got ball in hand here. He's got a good angle on the 6. Got up for the 7. Then needs to go have an angle for that to get across table for the 8. Uh-oh. Oh, slow down just in time. And that'll work.
Chris Cook making quick work of this rack. Pockets the 8 in the corner. Looks to have a very makeable shot on the 9 ball. Pockets that.
Oh, look out.
9 in the corner.
Was he flirting with it there? Put a little extra draw there.
I believe that score should be reversed. Burn It Down and 7 and a Timmaaay. I believe that should be flip-flopped. I believe Burn It Down currently has 22 points. They took 7 in the first match, 15 in the second.
I'm going to double-check the overall score. We're not talking about Chris and Bradley here. We're talking about the team score.
The producer's looking at me saying, we're checking it. I know the score.
Jason's on top of it.
There we go. Burn It Down, 22-18. 4-point lead in the overall match total. Again, both these teams racing to 51 here. Chris Cook with a 10-0 lead early on. He needs 55 points to Bradley Gregory's 31. Referee will prepare the rack. Again, the team of Burn It Down, they are out of Joilett, Illinois. They play out of Long Shots back in Joilett. Their opponents, 7 and a Timmaaay from Hiram, Georgia, where they play out of Hiram Station. Ava, Kevin wants to know how someone goes about gaining sponsors in their pool career. That's a tough one, isn't it?
Oh, that's not easy. That's not easy to do. I mean, to get sponsorships, I mean, obviously you need to start making a name for yourself, winning, getting out there, promoting, doing charity stuff, getting PR, do
Right.
whatever you can do to get your name out. It's no different than any other sport. But then there's only so many companies within our sport that has the budget to really sponsor enough to make a difference in your life. It's one thing to get enough money to where you can make it from tournament to tournament, but then it's going to be up to you to win some money. Very few of us have been fortunate enough. I've signed with Brunswick in 1988, believe it or not.
Wow.
So I've been very fortunate to have a great sponsor, and there's a lot of other great sponsors out there too, both table sponsors and cue sponsors and everything else, but there's not that many of them, and unless you are one of the top names, you've got a tough way to go.
Well, I think the real key is you've got to be able to help a brand grow their business somehow.
Exactly.
So I talk to a lot of pro players and say, hey, is APA interested in sponsoring me? I say, well, how can you help us grow our membership?
Right.
I mean, because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. We sponsor a player like Jeanette Lee because Jeanette kind of transcends beyond the pool world.
Right.
Right? We're always looking for non-pool players to get into APA, and she's a face and a name that is familiar
Exactly.
to those that outside the pool world. And whether it's, a cue manufacturer or table manufacturer or whoever it is, you have to be able to essentially help them grow their business through your pool career.
Yeah, I've always said
So-
that to players and to the tours. It's not about what they can do for you. It's you got to have the approach to the sponsor. I know that I did that with Brunswick. Is what can I do for them,
Right.
and come up with ways for them to sell more pool tables. Because why else would they do it other than, I don't want to be a charity case. So
I once had a pro player.
I don't really. The final answer is I don't really have. Other than that, I don't have much of a
Yeah.
suggestion for you. A lot of bad luck right now going Bradley's way.
Yeah.
That's the second rack in a row now. He's scratched. Kicking at balls, and not really his fault either one of them. He's a skill level 4, so it's not like he can foresee as much as a higher skill level player. And that was just some bad luck. Open table here now for Chris.
I'm going to see a timeout. Jeff Sargent's going to come talk it over with Chris a little bit. Just kind of continuing on the topic of sponsorship. I once had a professional player, I won't name him, but sat down with me, and he said, I'm really interested in getting sponsored. I said, that's great. I said, what can you do for APA? And he said, well, I'm not sure, but I really want to travel the world playing pool.
Yeah.
And I said, well, that's a great goal, and that's awesome, but that does not necessarily help us grow members. And,
Right.
and that's really, before you're going to get anything like that, you have to be able to show a sponsor what you can do for them.
Right.
And I think that probably is the best way to answer that question.
And it's not just billiards. I mean, it's, there's any sport,
Sure.
like a single sport like that, it's tough to get sponsorship until you get, obviously for a Tiger Woods or somebody like that, it's a different story, or Serena Williams. But I mean, there's a whole slew of players behind that
Right.
are struggling
Yep.
and sleeping in their car, and 3-4 people staying in the same hotel room. I mean, until you get to that point. So
I usually tell players, talk to your local pool room first, or somebody there
Right.
locally that
Yeah. And don't give up on your dreams, whatever
Absolutely
that is.
not.
All right, we're going to see here if he's got the angle. I'm not sure if the 9-ball's too far up. It looks like the combination is makeable, but maybe it's not. No, it's going to go for the point there. Just overdrew that a bit.
If you're enjoying our coverage of the APA World 9-Ball Championship, would encourage you to share it on your Facebook page with your friends and family and coworkers. Obviously, one of the reasons we're able to bring this coverage to you free of charge is driven by our viewership for our sponsors. So do us a favor, hit that share button real quick. Help us continue to bring you this great coverage.
All right, another difficult situation here for Bradley. Brad can hit this 5, but not do that much with it. Be careful not to scratch here again. That would be 3 out of 3. All right, he avoided the scratch. Now is he going to leave a shot? Yeah. Just got to be patient here. Sooner or later, he's going to get a shot. And the referee's going to come over and make sure there's no double hit, that the cue ball doesn't come back and hit the cue stick here. Good shot.
Nicely done.
Normally, when you play at home, I'm sure, and also when you're playing here in the arena, we have a referee per section. So if it's going to be a close call for double hit or maybe a hitting the wrong ball, you need to call the referee over and have them look at it. Obviously, we expect everybody to call fouls on themselves so you can sleep that night. A little short. But other than that, it has to go to the shooter. You have to have a rule. Does it go to the shooter or the person in the chair? And the rule is it goes to the shooter. All right, a lot of right spin on this. And here's Brad's first real shot that I can recall here. An offensive opportunity to pick up 4 points for him, as he's down 16-0 already.
And there he goes. Gets on the board with that 7 ball in the corner.
Another nice shot.
Pockets the 8 in the opposite corner. And the 9. Picks up 4 points there. He's now on the board. Of course, due to the skill level differential, Bradley only needs 31 points to Chris's 55.
So we're pretty much right
on. So much more even match than might be indicated by just the score.
Someone asked me why ESPN stopped showing pool. Well, the major reason was they pulled back on all, I hate to call us that way, but it's B sports. In other words, your non-baseball, basketball, everything else, and they just kind of pulled back on a lot of those. They got a little too big. I keep saying that we were part of what made ESPN2 back in the early 90s.
Yeah.
I talked a lot about the
niche
producers
sports,
of ESPN. We had a lot of discussion, and they said, you guys were a big part of bringing us the programming.
Mm-hmm.
And now they got too big for their britches, and all of a sudden that's not going to work for right now.
Yeah,
so.
well, they went to the streaming platform. They started doing their
offer
ESPN Plus, and the hard part of
3.
that for sponsors who usually have to fund the actual production is that you have less eyeballs, right? I mean, it's one thing if somebody's flipping through the TV channels. For the most part, the people that are going to go online are the people that are kind of already your core viewers. You're not reaching a larger audience, and so made it for a difficult situation. I think that's why you see more streaming now in pool. I mean, almost every pool event that's out there now, you see some form of live streaming, and that's just kind of the way the industry has gone over the last 10, 12 years.
Everything's just changed. TV is like the kids 5 years from now are going to go, what's TV?
Exactly. I mean, my kids could care less about TV. They want to watch something on the iPad or on the phone.
Unless they hook up their Nintendo Switch to the TV, and then, to play on the big screen.
Yeah.
That might be what it is. So, all right, now let's see if he can. Nice little touch getting this into the side pocket. There's a tough angle, it's very sharp angle into the side there. Another open table for Chris to walk into. He's got to bounce if he's going to get on that 2 ball. Couldn't quite hit enough of it to make it. It was tough to see from this angle if he could or not.
Bring Bradley Gregory back to the table of the team 7 and a Timmaaay. Bradley unable to pocket a ball, but does kind of break up that cluster there. Opens up the table just a little bit more. The team of Burn It Down, Chris Cook currently at the table. They're from Joilett, Illinois. Their opponents are from Hiram, Georgia.
Nice. That's going to have to need a real touchy shot here. Be able to get on the 3. Didn't work out, so you can easily kick it here between the 4 and 9. Well, that was a good hit. It did move. It doesn't take very long. Oh, wow. And he had spin on the ball. As soon as it hit the rail, it just snuck right behind that 6 ball. What a tough situation here for Bradley.
Some folks asking about when we moved to the Westgate. Of course, this event was held at the old Riviera Hotel and Casino for nearly a quarter century, and then Riviera closed down following our pool player championships in May of 2015. That August, we came here to the Westgate. Hard to believe it's been our 5th year already here. It seems like all that happened just not long ago.
Yeah. Nice kick.
I'll never forget former APA president Renee Lyle calling me into her office. I thought I was in trouble or something. She said, I need you to come down to my office, which she never said usually, and went down and shut the door. And Bill Tufts, our tournament director, was in there, and they said, we just found out the Riviera's closing. I thought, oh, my.
Yeah.
You know.
Now what do we do?
They're going to close the day our event ends or the day after. And the nice thing is a lot of the management group that was at the Riviera was moving over here to the Westgate. Of course, at the time it was called LVH, or had just changed names. Prior to that was Las Vegas Hilton. And so in some respects, we lucked out because that group was very intent on us moving over here to the Westgate, and it's really worked out very well. We mentioned all the hard work the staff here at the Westgate has put in accommodating our players. It's no easy task with the number of people that we bring in for this event now.
No, it's really crazy. But like you said, having a lot of the same staff
Absolutely.
is, you know, and a lot of them go, hey, I remember you from the Riviera. And I mean, it kind of was seamless in that aspect. And the fact that they have enough room for us here.
Yeah.
You know, some of the big casinos do, but then all of a sudden the player, instead of looking at, you know, $79 to $89 a night, depending on the year, now you're looking at $225.
Right, right.
So it's not that easy.
Instead of a $5 beer, you're looking at $11 beer, and you know, I mean, everything. The further center strip you go, the more things go up in terms of price, and so we think we found a good partner here at the Westgate. I think our players, for the most part, would agree. I know we've got some folks that sometimes disappointed when they can't get rooms here at the Westgate, but I believe we'd run into that problem no matter what hotel we would be at just because of the size of this.
Right.
Of course, when we say world's largest pool tournament, we mean it's definitely the world's largest pool tournament. That's Guinness certified, Guinness World Records. This has really become what they call a citywide event, meaning you've got multiple hotel properties. You know, it's not unforeseeable that someday we may have to actually have tables in multiple locations. So, you know, our tournament team has done a good job of us being able to avoid that for now. But, you know, the event continues to grow. Someday that may be a situation you have to look at, or potentially the Las Vegas Convention Center, which is a kind of a whole nother animal to try to create, you know, the tournament atmosphere that we have would be very difficult in that kind of environment.
All right, nice break up, but he didn't get any love. He hit the wrong ball to be able to break them open there, the wrong side of the 9. So I think he's going to go into safety mode here. I don't think that he can cut this. Is he going to bank it? Tried to play it off the 9. That wasn't really doable. We'll see here. And well, this time he left a shot for Brad. Every ball counts. Every ball counts towards the total overall points. And one shot you didn't think was that important could turn out, you know, be the difference in winning or losing a match. So
Got it. Side pocket.
it's going to be a little trickier getting on the 6 ball. Just make sure you make the 5, and if you can go back and forth, he could make the 6. The corner,
Not
no.
quite. But you can see, I mean, Bradley needs just 25 points to Chris's 36, if my math's correct. Even though it seems like it's been all Chris, I mean, we're technically Bradley here in the lead. Fewer points needed to win. Jim's watching as he takes a road trip to Texas. Jim, I hope you're not driving while you're watching, bud. Hopefully you're just
Yeah,
listening.
no kidding.
Be careful out there. Although I know sometimes driving across Texas, it's like wide open, right? Isn't that where they let you drive like
That's
80
when you
miles
wish
an hour somewhere through Texas like that?
That's when you wish you had the self-driving car. You can just kind of.
All right. Timeout here, and for the first time, we're going to see a coach from a different player on the team of 7 in a Timmaaay. This is Stephanie Pruitt, who we saw in the first match. She was victorious over Mike Maher.
I think a lot of times, you see a lot of teams having a different coach because you need to be able to connect with the person. She's a skill level 6, he's a skill level 4, and, sometimes you just prefer one person over another, but it's very hard sometimes, for instance, for a 9 to explain for a 4 what to do.
Right.
Because you just have different abilities, you think differently, and it's hard if you're a 3, for instance, and somebody says just hit that with a lot of reverse and come around, and you're going, yeah, okay, so. And Stephanie's obviously very accomplished and knowledgeable.
She played great that first match.
She sure did. And that didn't turn out too shabby. Long
Speed
shot.
limit in Texas, 85 miles an hour. I knew there was like stretches of Texas where you could just flat out fly.
It's like an Audubon a little bit.
All right. Bradley back at the table here.
Nice
Sends that
cut.
5 down into the corner.
Nice cut. Helped that the ball was on the rail there. This is a little different angle. Gets a little tougher cutting it when it's out towards the middle of the table like that instead of next to the rail, but he did it no problem. He had almost natural position come out for the 7. Back to the drawing board here. No timeout left, I don't believe.
Always amazes me, everybody that wants a shout out. I tell you what, here's what we'll do. You want a shout out, show me that you're sharing the feed on your Facebook page. You hit that share button, we'll see the notification, and I'll give you a shout out. How's that? Trying to drive as many viewers as we can here to the stream. Safety there by Bradley. Thank you, David, for the share. Thank you, Sandra. James Sweeney. Shout out to all you guys. Appreciate all your help in terms of reaching as many people as we can. Thank you, Chris.
Thin hit here. He's going to try to freeze that cue ball, make it. He would love the 7 to come out a little bit more on the table.
Mike and Ron with the shares. Edgar. I might not know what I got myself into here. Everybody's sharing. Jackie Martin.
This will be what you're going to be
That's
doing
right.
the rest of the telecast.
Vaughn. Appreciate all you folks sharing the content here. 7 in the corner. Craig with the share.
Big 3 points right
Yes,
there.
It is. Mike McDonald, Jason Schultz, Daniel, thank you all for the shares. Thomas, you too. Well, Bradley, just kind of quietly here, pulling ahead essentially in this match. Needs only 20 points now.
Oh boy. Mario, Charlene.
James.
Waylon, I always got to give you a shout out. Manuel, a lot of shares. James.
That's right. I don't know what I was asking for when I asked everybody to share it today. I thank our sponsors, Action Cues, Valley Dynamo Tables, Aramith Billiard Balls, and PoolDog.com. They are our Championship Arena title sponsors. Appreciate all their help. Kevin and Eric, the team there at Pool Dog. Gloria, we appreciate you sharing. Kayla said, wouldn't it be fun to see the World Championship in St. Louis? I don't know that there's anywhere large enough in St. Louis anymore to host our event. Of course, that's where this event was born, back at the Millennium Hotel, now called the Renaissance, where our junior championships are held, which is kind of ironic, you know. But takes a whole lot of space for us to accommodate this tournament. Bradley Gregory will have the break here for the team of 7 and a Timmaaay. They are from Hiram, Georgia. Michelle with the share. Thank you very much.
Mario said he played a player from our area in Coastal Carolina APA in the singles.
Nice.
I hope they were very classy and fun to play.
Nice break there for Bradley. I think you can see that one ball.
And just so you know, Waylon, you can go to the Coastal Carolina APA regular page now and share it. I had it on the group page. They have a private group. I snoozed that one. So my bad. Do I get a shout out from you too?
Shout
now,
out to
Jason?
Ava,
okay,
the
there
striking
you go.
Viking. David with the share.
All right, thin backwards cut would be the best thing he has there. I would just roll this 2-ball up. He's a skill level 4, so you don't want to get too cute, but just rolling the 2-ball up into the rail behind the 6 and 7 would be the safest bet here.
Some folks asking
Speed.
about tables. These tables after this event are loaded on the semi-trucks and used at other tournaments around the country. Our vendor High Country Promotions. We have no plans to use larger tables. Somebody asked about, of course, it always comes up, somebody asking about 9-foot tables, but would be really impossible to do this event on 9-foot tables. One, because there's just not 309-foot tables out there available for tournaments, and frankly, you don't have the space. They obviously take up more space, and of course, most of our leagues played on 7-foot tables. Most of our leagues played on Valley Dynamo tables, which is what we use here at the championship, and that is the reason why we do what we do. Somebody asking about table conditions. Every table leveled prior to the final match, just as they were, or the table was before this final match. Both team captains looking on as it was leveled.
Well, that was almost turned out good, but he can see the 2, but I don't believe that Chris can make the 2 from there. And things were all going in Chris's favor in the beginning, and then the last couple of racks, things have been totally turned around. And the little tiny things have been going in Brad's favor, so you got to take advantage when it's there. I mean, Chris was way ahead, and then he keeps stepping up to the table, and there's not much to look at, just like what Brad was treated to in the first couple of racks.
Tony Bud, I'm going to say be careful because you're very close to no longer watching the World 9-Ball Championship from here at Pool Dog Championship Arena. Bradley can't pocket that 3 in the side.
And again, nothing here to look at for Chris. It's going to go right behind it there. Dream situation would be a hit and stick, and instead A little loving there that he didn't leave much for Brad. Brad's team now has played up to 12 points after 3 matches. So there's 2 matches left, so they have 11 points left to play. And Burn It Down, on the other hand, has played up to 14 points out of the 23. So they have 9 points left to play total as far as skill levels go, 23 max. All right, not a bad play there. Three balls definitely makeable, but if I was the referee, I'd take a closer look here. When they're this close, and he's right on it. All our referees out here are skill level 6 or higher. And mostly what that is, obviously, to make a hit call, for instance, you can see how, if it was a good or bad hit, if somebody hits it slowly. But if somebody hits it really firm, you got to think before they even hit the shot, where will the balls go? Oops,
Well,
there you
we
go. Where will the balls go if it's a good hit, and where will they go if it's a bad hit? There's no way if it's a good hit for this ball to go over here, etc. So that's why one of the reasons we look for a higher skill level player in that situation. Good shot by Chris. Nice bank to follow that up. I think he's going to have to let his stroke out a little bit here to get back up for the 7. Nice draw, smooth stroke here to get it back up. Put some power onto it. There you go, just like that. And he needed to pick up some points here in this rack. Somebody said you had a bad call from a ref. That's going to happen. I've played in pro tournaments with the best referees around and gotten bad calls before. Nobody's going to do it. Oh,
Nope.
I apologize. I took that for as much as for granted as I think he did. I'm surprised at that miss. But yeah, there's going to be times you have a bad hit call from a referee. I don't think there's a sport where that's not going to be the case. We're an amateur event, so we're not going to have videotape and
you
replay
see bad
and all
calls
that.
from referees and
Yeah,
umpires in
sure.
every level of sports. It's
Gonna
part of the
happen.
game.
Nobody's going to do it intentionally. Oh, it gives them a chance to still get to the table for that 9 ball and those 2 points.
Somebody's asking about any thoughts on using slow motion to make calls. We're not going to go. We're not going to get into all that.
No. Oh.
All right.
Nice shot.
2 more points for Chris Cook of the team Burn It Down. If you're not yet an APA member, you can go to poolplayers.com/join. Become a member today. We'll get you on a team for the fall session. Fall leagues are forming right now around the country. It's a great time to get involved if you're not already. APA leagues, in addition to a great opportunity to come to Vegas, really it's all about meeting new people, having a lot of fun, being able to enjoy competition, being part of something bigger, right?
It's not just that, but locally, I mean, a lot of our players say that. I've said it for a long time. It becomes a family.
Absolutely.
It's the people that you see every week. Just, it's kind of like the show Cheers. When you walk in and everybody knows your name. Yeah, everybody knows your name. Just, instead of going into a bar or into a pool room and feeling like you don't know anybody, hit a few balls and then go home. But, I mean, it becomes a family, and everybody pulls together. If something bad happens to somebody, if something good happens to somebody. We had a fundraiser at home. We had hit last year with the hurricane in Wilmington and in the Myrtle Beach and Conway area in Brunswick County. And telling you what, It was amazing. Our players pulled together and raised a bunch of money for their fellow players who lost everything, and it warmed my heart. And that's when you realize that it's not just about pool. It really is about the family feel and the friendships and everything that you forge.
We had a situation earlier this week where a gentleman playing a match in our
I
main
know.
tournament room suddenly collapsed. Fortunately, we keep a defibrillator here on site, and they called for it, and a couple of nurses that were there rushed to his aid and were able to literally save his life. From what we understand, he is still hospitalized, but is recovering. I know we had a lot of folks inquiring about, what happened there, and happy to report that gentleman is on the road to recovery, and thanks to his fellow pool players, he is alive today. And that's
Yeah.
pretty powerful stuff.
Yeah, you bet.
I don't know a better story to tell that illustrates kind of what it means to be part of this thing we call APA than a story like that.
All right.
Seeing a timeout here for Bradley. Tim Heath with the coach.
Let's see, going for the 9 here. I'm not sure.
Got it.
Oh, he made it.
2-9
Nice
combination,
shot.
picks up 2 points. The rest of the remaining balls will be marked as dead balls, so we've got 7 dead balls in this rack. And Bradley will have the break.
Somebody said, can we speed up the racking? No, because we want to make sure that the rack is perfectly racked and that nothing falls off. Obviously, during play, sometimes it becomes a little bit of a groove, where especially the top 3 balls are, and once that groove starts hitting, it's harder and harder to get them to freeze just right. And the referee is going to spend however long he needs to make sure that the rack is nice and tight and set up properly for some action to happen with the balls there. So
I was looking at that point total. I'm not sure if the point total is 17 or 18. That 9 ball was worth 2 points there to end that rack. So we'll get confirmation of that.
we obviously have official scorekeeper down on the floor.
Yeah, we're trying to
This
keep
is
up in the booth.
in the
and
booth,
it's
exactly.
a little more challenging, but they're saying, yes, that score is correct. So I'm going to take their word for it.
This time.
Nah, yeah. All right.
So we
all
got
right.
1-1.
All right. They're messing with me over there. Again, the team of Burn It Down leading 22-18. Fairly even match that we've seen here today, Ava. And again, wouldn't surprise me at all just based on the way things have gone this week and the way things are going in this match if this goes 5 deep and we're looking at some type of almost hill situation.
We've had a lot of hills this week.
That we have. A little more challenging to go hill in 9 ball, I guess, with the
Not
point
really.
total. But
50-50, you see
Yeah.
it all the time. Then if it finishes 50-50 out of the 100 points available, it goes to the team that has won 3 individual matches out of the
Point there
5.
on the break.
And that looks pretty good.
Shot on the 1 ball.
Cue ball will feed nicely out to around here. You got the 2 ball right there. 3 is here. The 4 ball, I'm sure, will become a tester if he gets that far. Oh, she hit that. He hit that little too far. That's going to be a complete snooker right there. Oh, no, I'm so sorry. That's the 3 ball. I thought that was the 2. I get
Pockets
nice
at
shot.
3 in the corner. Boy, the momentum of this match has changed completely. Chris really came out and was up 10-0 early on after that first rack, and Bradley was struggling a bit, but now the tide has turned. And again, with the skill level differential and the points needed, Bradley's opened up a pretty good lead here. You'll see a timeout once again from Timothy Heath of the team 7 and a Timmaaay. Timothy Heath is the Timmaaay in the team name. Bradley Gregory needs just 10 points now to Chris's 29. unable to make legal contact and scratches, so Chris will have ball in hand with an opportunity to pick up some points here. Again, if you're late joining us, you are seeing coverage of the APA World 9-Ball Championship being held at Pool Dog Arena in Las Vegas.
About the only thing that, as long as he doesn't scratch or anything like that in the side pocket, it should be over as long as he can get an angle from the 8 to the 9. That's obviously going to be the key shot here.
Watch
No,
out.
there's that scratch.
So that'll be another dead ball. And
You got to hit more of the ball there when it's hanging in the pocket like that. You want to go into the rail, but you need to hit a thicker hit and a little bit more spin to be able to draw it past that side pocket. I see that scratch a
big
lot
3
in the
points
amateurs.
now out there for Bradley. He needs just 10. This would be a big 3 points. Pockets that 8. Looks to have great position on the 9.
Yep, that's just about cue ball placement right there. He had the luxury of putting down to where it's an automatic position. It's just playing the right speed.
Got it. 2 more points. He needs just 7. This is kind of a cool story from Kevin. He said, I met a team who had a member that had been in the APA since it started, never made it to Vegas. When he finally qualified with the team, he unfortunately passed away. And they only used his cue during the tournament so he could be there with them.
Oh, how cool is that?
That is an outstanding story. Thank you for
I love
sharing that with us, Kevin. Again, I think that just kind of more illustration of what APA is all about, what it means to folks. It's a lot more than simply what happens out here in Vegas or how much prize money you win or what type of trophy you take home. It's really about people.
It really
right?
is.
And people
It's the
coming together
community
for
of it.
something special. And
Sure.
you know, kudos to Terry Bell and Larry Hubbard, who started this organization, and to our league operators, who are really the lifeblood of what we do and bringing in our members. And, of course, our members make it all happen, right? Without them, there is no APA. So, very cool story. Thank you for sharing that, Kevin. That was nice. Would love to actually talk to the team that did that. If there's a way we can get in touch with them, Kevin, if you happen to know their names or where they play out of, we'd love to find a way to tell that story to more people. I think that's very unique.
William is asking about breaking up the middle. You know what? You move the cue ball around. Most pros will prefer breaking from the side cushion, but you break from there. If balls don't go, then you might move it to the other side. You know, my last resort will be breaking straight on. You get less action on the balls that way.
Another point there for Bradley on the break.
And he actually got a shot on the 1, I think. Yeah.
Shot on the 1, but could not pocket the 1.
No.
Bring Chris back to the table, but you know, again, a tough situation for him to be shooting in here. That 1 tucked in right behind the 2 ball there.
Oh, he hit it too softly, and with spin, and that just elongated the angle quite a bit. So, well, Chris needing 6 points. I mean, Bradley needing 6.
And
And they are on the table.
That 6 will go down as a dead ball in this rack.
He's going to just try to make this 1 ball and roll up. The 2 will pass in the far corner.
Pockets the 1 in the side.
Not quite.
Now needs just 5 points. Somebody's asking about if your handicap can go up here in Vegas. It absolutely can go up.
Oh, man, he got a little lucky there. Got some love from his teammates and friends. Kind of become two camps in the room here, obviously, with friends being in here. And this is a big deal for Chris. He needs to get a few more points. Well, this is going to be a 16-4 finish, I believe. If he gets to 33, that would be a 15-5. So either that or just really get going here and run a few racks. But this is not the shot you want to start out with.
I'm just amazed at how this match has turned. I mean, Chris was in absolute control early on.
Yeah.
Bradley was struggling, and Bradley now very much in control here.
Well, Chris has struggled a little bit here the last few racks. And also, I got to give it to him. He's had some bad luck, too, which is, you know, part of the game. All right, time to make something happen here, Chris. Just take a deep breath, ignore the score, play your game the way you know how. He wanted to come way out to about here, so he could have just floated down the cue ball down for the 4 on the side. Now he's going to have to come across in the corner, no big deal, but it's little position errors like that that can make an easy out difficult. So just really need to pay attention here. You want to make sure you have. Oh, so he's getting down real quick.
Kevin, thank you for that information. We'll look into seeing if we can find some records for that team, Brooks and Melissa, that you told us the story about. See if we can't track them down. We love to tell stories like that, though.
Mm-hmm.
Stories that kind of transcend what happens on the table. Safety there by Bradley.
Which is you know, it's a good safety. If when in doubt and you don't know what to do, that's not a bad way to put it. Oh, he wants that to slow down. Well, 4 balls available. Just overhit it a bit.
Again, Bradley needs just 5 points to put this match away, and he's got those 5 points right there on the table. If he can run out here.
Well, you make the 4, you have built-in position, obviously, on the 5. You don't have to do anything. You just got to make it.
Easy. Got the 4 in the corner.
And the cue ball is going back up for the 8. If he hits it soft enough, he did, but he failed to make it.
Michael wants to know when APA will have a scoring app. The good news, Michael, is we are very much working on that. We actually have our 8-ball scoring app being tested in select markets around the country. Hope to have that available very soon. We can focus on a 9-ball scoring app. I know that's something players have been craving for a very long time, and we hope to fill that need or void very soon. Chris Cook looking to finish off this rack. Pockets
Oh,
the
no,
9
you
ball.
didn't, Chris. Uh-oh, uh-oh.
Another scratch, so that'll be a dead ball. 2 points off the board for Chris. Bradley now needing just 4 points. He will have the rack or the break in the next rack.
Yeah, he did that earlier. The very first rack, he had one of those where he just drew it into a pocket, and this time he just overstroked it a little too much low.
He's just looked a little off in the
Yeah.
last few racks now,
Yeah.
and I think frustration maybe just kind of getting to him. Obviously, just because he's a 7 doesn't mean he's immune to the,
Oh,
the nerves
not
that
at
go
all.
with this. So.
Not at all. And the thing you got to remember too, I don't care what the score is. When you're playing a team match, this is the third match in out of 5. And even if Chris goes, okay, I can't win this match from here. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But you can at least pick up team points for your team. So you feel like you kind of the heck with it. You know, if you're down 8-0 in a pro match, In a race to 9, you feel like, yeah, never mind.
Right.
But here, every ball that you make could potentially put your team in the winner's circle. So
2 more points there for Bradley. Yes, folks are correct. 9 ball cannot be a dead ball. Does get spotted.
okay,
And Chris is just, I'm sorry, Bradley just 2 points away from winning this third match here and putting his team back on top. The team of Burn It Down currently leading 22-18 in terms of team points.
we need to remind you guys that, first of all, the pressure is heavy here. They are playing with thousands of people watching. They're
Yeah.
playing under the lights. Y'all that have been here, I know you guys will know what it's like. The ones that have not, show some support and some kindness. And
Yeah.
just because you are a skill level 7 or whatever doesn't mean you're a machine. You can make mistakes.
The funny thing is early
You
on in
can
this
miss
match.
balls.
Yeah.
You can hit it too soft, too hard, too. I mean, and plus the pressure. But I mean, nobody just plays as a 7 every time they play,
Right.
or a 4 every time you play.
Early on, I saw some commenter saying, "No way, this guy's a 7." When he was running, and when he was up 10-0, they were implying he was
Oh yeah, the
a
first
better
rack,
shooter. And
yeah.
now I'm not seeing
Yeah.
that as much. So
Yeah.
always entertaining. All right, so another point on the board for Brad.
And he's not going to win it on this one. He needs 1 ball, but good luck even getting to that 1 ball.
Gonna take it.
This is kind of a big moment though, because I mean, he's kind of,
So he gives ball in hand there to.
yeah, that's not a
Chris.
bad idea, because where is it going to go? But the thing is, Chris needs 1 more point here in this match to give his team 1 more point, even if he loses. So this 1 ball is pretty important.
In terms of the team point split, and a good opportunity to educate our viewers, that ball in hand that was given to Chris would be marked as a defensive shot, would it not, Ava?
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. And then Chris follows it up with a safety or defensive shot of his own.
Anytime it's your turn and you don't play offensively, you obviously be playing defense.
Bradley for the win here. Can't quite get to the 1 ball there, so Chris will have another turn at the table.
And Chris is going to be playing defense again. And while they were racking the balls, he went over and talked to his team for a while, and I have a feeling that he is very well aware that this 1 ball will help him. And if he can get an open shot, I mean, he's liable to run the rack, so it's very important. And if you look at it, I mean, he needs just a couple of racks plus 3. So he is a 7. If he can get control, just not have any unforced errors happen.
Plays another safety there. And like you mentioned, even 1 more point here is significant for Chris. That would change that team point total.
Well, that should be 2 points for Chris right there. Shoot a billiard, shoot the cue ball. Shoot the cue ball into the 1 and just drift it up and make the 9 ball.
He's
That's 2
got it.
points right there.
And that's a big deal. Gets him an even better split regardless of the outcome here. He will also have the break. Like you said, Chris is skill level 7. I mean, certainly capable of breaking and running
Oh,
a rack
absolutely.
or maybe more, you know.
Absolutely.
You might not think so based on what we've seen the last few racks, but again, he is a 7.
And we saw
Not
him
a
play the
7 by
first
accident.
couple of
Yeah,
racks.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So just needs to put together a nice run here, but at this point, every couple of balls is going to make a big difference.
And the overall points
That's right.
race, absolutely. But that brought him right now at 15-5 instead of 16-4.
Yep.
And the next...
Needs to get to 38 to get to a 14-6 split, so he needs minimum of 4 more points to improve. Again, that's assuming that he doesn't mount a comeback here and win this match. Be tough to do. Bradley's been playing very well. Needs just 1 point.
And if Bradley needed 3 or 4, it would be a lot easier. But the fact that he only needs 1, all it takes is for Chris to get a little unfortunate, get really, put in a tough position and get snookered or scratch or something. And then all of a sudden there's that 1 point. But it's definitely not an impossible. Let's see here if he can pocket a ball on the break. Yes. 2.
Ball,
oh.
2.
3.
Oh, yeah.
No shot on the 2, though. You can see there's, looks like he's going to have to kick at this. The 8 ball has him blocked just enough, I think, to where he cannot hit the 2. If he comes down, if we look at this above, he comes 2 rails here and hits this 2 ball, he might be able to make the 2 off the 9 ball. That happens, it's not going to... Oh, not quite enough. And no scratch. And oh, it's going to be close.
Yet.
I think he can come down.
Yet.
Whoops! I think he can come down and go rail first and make that 2 ball.
Somebody's asking why we don't allow the push shot in APA. We don't do the push shot. Again, we believe that favors the more high-skilled player.
Of course.
If you want to be able to play with the push shot and the jump cue, you need to check out our Masters program where there are no skill levels utilized. Timeout here by the team of 7 in a Timmaaay, knowing how important this last point is. Trying to keep Chris from getting to 38, which would improve that team point split that we've mentioned a couple times. Oh, and he fouls by hitting the 4 ball first. Chris will have ball in hand. Should have no problem picking up another point here at least.
Well, it looks like 3 points to me. That 9 ball combo is makeable. The 3 ball is gone. I mean, there's no reason not to shoot the combo. He gets to break again. And last time he made 2 balls on the break. So I would just go for it. The break is a good thing for you. A lot of times, if the balls are open, you'd rather go with a point system for the run out than you would an easy combination, because that's just your 2 points as opposed to all the balls on the table. But in this case, got to go for the combo. And as powerful as Chris's break is, I would definitely shoot that. There you go.
And that'll put him at 40 points. Needs to get to 43 to improve that split even more so.
Needs 15 more. Very doable. There's 10 points on the table every time you break the ball. So if he can get a break and run here, which is very doable, this is a skill level 7, then he would need 5 to Bradley's 1. So it's not over till it's over.
Bradley getting a pep talk from his teammates there, reminding him that he needs just 1 point. Chris will have the break. If you've not yet liked our Facebook page, go ahead and do that now. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're enjoying this content, you'll have a chance to get notifications as we do more live streaming. We do live streaming of all of our championship matches here in Vegas or at our juniors event. Of course, we'll have the U.S. Amateur Championship coming up in November, where we'll be live streaming the vast majority of the rounds there. Chris will look to pick up some more points here on the break.
And there goes, yeah, there goes the 4 ball.
You can see the 1 ball. Now at 41 points.
He's got a almost straight in shot on this 1 ball. Just kind of float it down, and if he can avoid hitting the 7, then he should have a good shot at the 2. So he's got his chance right here. Whoa. We got a little dizzy there. Just so you know, the ball didn't go in. That was funny. All right, still no shot, though, here for poor Brad. He hasn't had a shot for quite a while, a good offensive shot. So
They're going to take another timeout?
I would.
Yes, they are.
This is important right here.
Trying to coach him up on a 3-ball combo. Get that one big final point.
And try to make
And
something, and there it is, unless.
He's got it. Bradley Gregory wins the 3rd match here in the 9-ball World Championship. Final score there, 41-31.
At least I brought it to a
14-6 split.
14-6, yeah.
So 14 points will go to the team of 7 and a Timmaaay. 6 points to the team of Burn It Down. We're going to take a quick break while we prepare for the 4th match. While we do that, here's a word from our friends at PoolDog.com.